Show me something. Hello and welcome back to the Show Me Something podcast. My name is Will.
I'm Trevor.
And I'm Jacob.
And this week I have the triumphant return of the TV show Fargo. As teased previously, I have brought season 2, since season 1 was such a, I guess I'll say hit. That might be a little bit presumptuous of me, but the boys enjoyed it. I obviously love it, so I was excited to bring back season 2, especially given the fact that Lou was a favorite character. Again, kind of a contentious bit on my part for being a spoiler boy.
That was fucked.
But
That was.
yeah, I know. I take the L on that one. I still think it was good. It's good podcasting, but it is also bad in terms of morals. So, what's up, boys? Any a happy New Year? This is our first episode recording in 2021.
Happy 2021. It's still feels like 2020, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
Already had crazy shit happen this year.
The world
Classic.
is still on fire and possibly getting worse.
Yeah.
But in good news, for Christmas, Abby got me some really cool glasses to drink beer out of.
Hell yeah.
Which is pretty sick. Did you
okay,
guys get
yeah.
anything? Did you guys get anything dope for Christmas?
I got a new. Oh yeah, no, you go, Will.
Sorry. Yeah, just clothes. I got some socks that I was very happy about. Some new workout clothes. I got a new hoodie that I'm currently sporting right now.
Nice.
Very, very cozy. I've been wearing it pretty much every day since Christmas. But I think the biggest thing probably, or the thing that would be most interesting to this podcast, my dad got me a Blu-ray box set of Federico Fellini films from the Criterion Collection.
Damn.
Cool.
He's like one of the great Italian filmmakers of the 60s and 70s. He's one of my dad's favorite directors. I've never seen his stuff before. He's always tried to get me to watch it, and I haven't. So he dropped that on me as a surprise, which is pretty cool. So I'm excited to dig into that. What about you, Trev?
I'm wearing one of them. I got a new headset because my old ones were starting to really take a crap. I had to wire the charging cable because it wasn't holding the charge hardly at all. So I had to wire the charging cable over my shoulder to hold it at the right angle so that it would keep charging.
Brutal.
So I got a new, Steel Series headset, which is nice. A cover for my truck bed, and some new work boots, as well as
Nice.
gift cards for a beer app that I like to use.
For the beer
yeah.
boy.
The beer boy. So I've spent a lot of that already on beer, which I'll get in a month. I think I'll get the beer.
It'll be a good little surprise.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
Cool.
It was a good Christmas overall.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
I spent New Year's alone this year, but whatever. It was
Yeah,
fine.
us too.
I spent
That's how
it
we do it.
sleeping. I was asleep through it.
We had I can't believe, it's hard to believe it's been a year since our foray in the woods at Trevor's
know.
place last New Year's.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
The Harbor
Next-
Boys picture came from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is
Next
true.
year. It'll happen again next year. We'll skip
Let's
a
hope
year, and then we'll do
Jeez.
it.
I don't know about that. Maybe 2029 or some shit.
No, we're fine.
I'm going to be 50 by the time I see you guys in person next time.
God
No,
damn it.
don't say that.
Cool. So any housekeeping to take care of before we jump into a synopsis and then our review?
I don't think I'm good.
I think we kind of
Cool.
covered it. Good holidays.
Yeah.
All that.
All is well. Sweet. So season 2 of Fargo is, again, the show's an analogy or anthology series. Sorry. So season
It's
2
an
takes place
analogy.
in it's an analogy. It takes place in 1979. It is focused or centered around Lou Solverson, who is Molly Solverson's dad in season 1. And it's about the Sioux Fall Massacre, or the Massacre at Sioux Fall, I think it's probably formally referred to as, which is briefly talked about in season 1, and then is obviously the entirety of the season 2. So what you guys think?
I really liked it. I thought it was really good. I like this season a lot better because I knew from the get-go that the thing at the start where it says based on a true story is a lie.
I can't believe
That
I
annoyed
was
me.
gonna say because of Lou. Oh
No,
my
well, I mean Lou was great. No, don't get me wrong, but like I did not feel cheated because I knew that it was a lie this time. I still got upset every time I saw it. I was like, "This is bullshit. I don't like that
Why
they
are
say
you
We gotta
this."
watch
upset by
Fargo, Trev. We gotta watch Fargo. We gotta watch the movie.
How is that going to fix it? They're lying. It's not a true story. Regardless, I still thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very good. It was a good story. Interesting characters that I didn't have. I feel like I didn't have anyone that I hated quite as much as I hated season 1 main character.
Lester.
Lester, thank you. Yeah, I didn't have
Interesting.
anyone that I hated quite as much as Lester. There was some close. There were some people that were close,
Yeah.
but Lester was just the worst. This season it had like a very interesting like dynamic characters, like evolving and changing and everything, and it was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'd give it. Do I give the rating now or do I give it after?
Yeah, you give your rating
I
now,
screwed it
brother.
up the past couple of times.
He'll never get it right. It's insane.
No, he's
It
just
says-
unsure now. He's unsure. It's okay.
I am.
We'll get you
I-
back, Trev.
I get yelled at every now and then, so like I want to make sure.
Well, I mean, you
Well,
fucked
to be
it up.
fair, one time
I
didn't
did
you
fuck
rate
it
it
up.
out of 100?
I did rate it out of 100 one time. Yeah. Yeah, I did.
And then
do
the
that.
second time you didn't give it a rating at all.
I did
It's all
forget to
good.
give her. Okay.
We'll get you there, Trev.
Give this like a 9 out of 10. It was really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I would recommend other people to watch this. Lou is awesome, as well as Hank. Hank is also awesome. There we go.
Right on, yeah. I mean, I pretty much I echo a lot of what Trevor said. I mean, I loved it. I thought it was great. I don't think it's better than season 1 though. I like Trevor's thought it was. I think it's pretty close. I think it's a little bit lower for me than season 1, but really barely. There's just like a couple of things that I thought were like weird or like kind of strange, you know. Which
yeah,
we could talk about a
Jesus.
little bit later.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, I thought a lot of the characters were great. They were bad guys that I loved to hate. Not as much as Billy Bob in the original, but
Yeah.
what's his name? The twin guys. Fuck those
The Kitchen
guys.
Brothers. The Kitchen
Dude,
Brothers.
those guys are the worst. But yeah, I really hated them. I hated them so much.
That's
not.
funny. That's
I
strong.
they were good characters, but because they were good characters, it made me hate them.
Yeah.
Because they were bastards. Yeah. And there's also a lot of really good characters. Lou is great. His wife is great.
Oh,
it was
she's
great to see
fantastic.
Molly again.
I know.
Yeah.
In the
Shout
little
out
role
Molly.
that she's in. There were some moments when I got a little bit choked up, but not as much or not as far either as in the first season. But yeah, no, it was really good. I also enjoyed the setting, or not the setting, but the time period.
Yeah.
Having it in the late 70s and 79 was a cool aesthetic. It's always cool to see stuff from back then, just because the style is so different with everything, whether it be fashion, like vehicles, stuff in the house, just everything. It's just a really cool art style and everything. But yeah, I'd probably give it like a 9 out of 10. It's very close to the original in how much I liked it, but just a little bit under.
Cool. Yeah. I echo. I think it's really wonderful.
Wait, did you give it a rating?
Yeah, you said 9 out of 10.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Ignore me.
Distracted. When I first started watching it, I was maybe like 3 episodes in. I was not necessarily lukewarm, but I wasn't as high on it as I remember being when I first watched it. I think this season is much weirder. I think it's
Yeah.
darker somehow. Like there's
Okay.
I could
think
see what you're saying.
I think maybe like tonally, there are more dark or like kind of introspective moments than there are in season 1. I think a lot of that centers around Lou's wife.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You know, so it's heavy. I think maybe heavier is maybe a better way to phrase it.
Yeah.
The stakes feel more real, and I think that also probably has to do with the fact that we're already invested in Molly from the minute one. You know, who's only 5 years old in this one, but like we're invested in her family because we love her from the first season.
I would say there's some dark stuff with Peggy as well.
Yeah, very much so.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I cannot wait to talk about her.
Yeah, I want to
me
talk
too.
about her character in depth.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think it's wonderful. The cast is unbelievable. Part of me wants to say I like the cast more than season 1 because I think it's wider. I think there are more people who do a really unbelievable job, like notably so in season 2. There are just more characters by the nature of the story that's being told than season 1. But Patrick Wilson as Lou is incredible. Ted Danson as Hank is incredible. Bokeem Woodbine as Mike Milligan is incredible. And Jesse Plemons as Ed Blumquist and Kristen Dunst as Peggy Blumquist are maybe the two best, I think.
So good to see Kirsten Dunst again. I feel like I haven't seen her
Yeah,
forever.
honestly.
Dude, she's been out in the woods. Yeah,
I'm like, man, she's great.
She's so fucking good. Yeah, and I think the music in this season is really, really good. That drum, the drum theme that they have throughout, is so propulsive and emotive and evocative. It's just like every time it comes on, I'm geeked up. You know, I'm hype, as Trevor would say. So yeah, I would probably give it a 9.5. I think that's also what I gave season 1. It's pretty close to perfect. I think there's so much to talk about in this show overall, but especially in this season. It's just really, really, really fucking good TV, and these are far and away two of the best seasons of television of the 2010s for me.
It is crazy how well they were able to do in the second season, compared to the first. You find a lot of the time that like writers and everything are not able to hold up,
especially
if the
anthology.
first season is so good. Especially in anthologies, you see it all. I mean, that's classic where half of it's bad.
It's really stellar, and I think I agree that it's rare for it to hold up as well as it does season after season. I do think 3 and 4 are a pretty significant step below these first two.
4?
I haven't finished 4. I'm halfway through it, but 3 I remember not being super fond of.
Gotcha.
Also,
I'm fine with you spoiling at least as little bit as much as you did last time. Is the third season connected? It's not. Damn.
Yeah, no,
Dang.
not as directly as this one is. If it is, then I misremember or didn't do the research, but it's not as overt as this one is at all.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So cool. So before we jump into spoilers, or maybe I guess we should just do spoilers so we can talk freely about who we choose.
Let's do it. Let's jump in the zone.
All right, cool. So spoiler zone is being entered. So let's do 3 favorite characters of the show, and I think we're gonna exclude Lou because he's probably all of our number 1. I mean, if he's not number 1, he's in the top 3. I think is fair to say. So Lou is unbelievable. I saw someone speak to Patrick Wilson's performance as reminiscent of The Godfather 2 when who is it that plays Vito, young Vito? Is it Pacino or De Niro?
No, De Niro.
Yeah, so they were like, it should be mentioned in the same breath as this performance. I mean, that's a huge talk, I think, but I think Patrick Wilson does an incredible job of carrying the same weight that Lou does in season 1 as an old man.
I would say so.
And, he's just so fucking good the entire season. So anyway, who wants to go first with their top 3? Or however many?
I guess I will. right off the bat, Hank, Ted Danson.
Yeah.
I loved him. I'm like, I don't know, something about.
He's great.
I like Ted Danson. Anyways, I think he's a great actor.
I think it's hard to hate Ted Danson. I mean, he's just he's pure charisma.
And the character he plays is so good. Or not Molly. Oh my God, why am I blanking on her name?
I don't know her name. Lou's wife.
Mrs. Solverson.
Mrs. Solverson, yeah.
Yeah, I wrote her name
is
down.
Betsy.
Betsy's
Betsy,
dad.
Yeah, thank you.
He is he's just a great character, and it's such a good relationship that he has, like, with Lou. Like, they're both cops, just in different departments technically, but they work together. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, they have such a great dynamic with each other. And he's such a stand-up guy. He's just like him throughout the whole show. I never had a moment where I was like, Hank, what the hell? Every time,
not even with the alphabet thing, him creating his own language.
No, I think that's maybe the purest part of his entire character.
I agree.
That was bizarre.
I think that's the purest part of his entire character.
To be fair, I was expecting that to be centered more around the whole alien thing.
That's what I thought too. I thought it was going to be the aliens, and then he was like, "I just want to create a language that's pure."
Which, you know what? I think it's a nice. It's strange. Don't get me wrong.
That's so weird, though. Imagine if someone told you they're creating their own language.
Don't get me wrong. It's weird, but it comes from such a pure place that I can't be like weirded out by it in a way. You know, like at first it's a little bit like
still be.
You take like a half step back, but then when you hear his intentions, I'm taking 2 steps forwards. I'm like, let's work on this language, dude. I'm in.
Let's build this language, brother.
I'm in on this.
I think it helps that he's like admits like, I know this must sound like absolutely insane to you, but he just is literally trying to solve conflict across the world by doing this. And I think that's I mean, sure, yeah, it's weird, but like it's the most sweet, like gentle thing. Like, I just want to hug him. Yeah. You know, like
absolutely.
Fuck. And his beard is so good. It's such a good beard.
So
he's always clean shaven.
Oh, he's got
I feel like the how good it is though, like in quotes, is like it's for me overshadowed in it being like too good of an excuse. Like, oh, I want to create a language that solves conflict worldwide. It's like, no, who thinks like that? Like
someone who's seen some shit.
Seen some shit, bro. Yeah, World War II.
It's a coping mechanism more than anything.
Yeah.
But
that's true. Yeah.
I mean, he was. Well, Lou was in World War II.
No, Lou was in Nam. I thought.
No, yeah, Lou was in Nam.
Oh Jesus, I'm sorry.
Lou's in Nam and Hank was in World War II. He does call it the Great France. War, but he's not old enough to be in World War I.
No,
he's World War II.
Okay. God, and then I'm having a really hard time, picking. After Hank, picking another favorite character, because I had favorite characters rise and fall throughout the show.
Damn.
Interesting.
Because like the first few episodes, I would have easily put what's her name, like Simone, or Dodd's daughter.
Oh, what?
The first couple of listen to me.
That's a bold choice.
No, that's a crazy choice.
Let me finish. I'm not picking her as my second or third because I hated her by the end. But the first couple of episodes, she would have been probably number 2. But then
all she did was talk back to Dodd. What did she do that was so impactful for you?
I hated Dodd. I hated.
Yeah, Dodd's a piece of shit. But I mean,
exactly. I liked her. I liked her spunk and charisma, and I was like, all right, cool. And then she went a really bad turn. I'm like, nope, never mind. You're out. Get out. You suck.
Interesting.
I think number 2. I think I'm gonna go with Floyd, Gene Smart.
Interesting.
The matriarch of the Gerhart clan.
Of the Gerharts, yeah.
She's such an interesting character throughout the whole thing. Yeah. Like, she obviously. I would say more. God, how do I say this? She was more or less running at least half of the business, even when Otto. Otto?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Otto was functional. It seemed like the way like she was talking with him and like giving him reports on stuff, she was more or less doing a bunch of the running of the business before anyways. So her power dynamic and struggle trying to be like, listen, I know this shit. I'm going to run it at least for now until we're no longer under siege.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how much I believe of that. I half believe her. The other half is like, nah, I think she was going to try and run it the rest of her life. But who knows? But I liked her character a lot. She was sensible. She got tricked a little bit, but I thought she was actually somewhat sensible. And then third is also hard. I guess just someone I like to see I'm going to put as my third, which is Nick Offerman's Carl Weathers.
Yeah, that was great. Really
He's
excellent.
such a fun character. Like, I have other characters I want to put as honorable mentions, but if I have to pick a third, yeah, I smiled every time he came on screen. Like, I was just like, yeah, Nick Offerman. And Carl as a character was just a cool character too. This like crazy, like not crazy, like this anti-governmental lawyer man who's
Vietnam
the only
vet lawyer.
Vietnam vet, yeah, who's just like the only lawyer in town, which is hilarious. And I kept wondering where he was gonna come up at like the first couple episodes or wherever. He's just like there, and I'm like,
he
drops off hard though.
What? Yeah, he does, but then he picks back up again towards the end. So
he gets a great.
He's not in like the last like 4 episodes.
Yeah, the last time he appears is at the police station, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I think
guess so.
He gets a lot of room to work in that episode, and I think it's really wonderful.
It's really like that episode. The other episodes, he's like before that, he's like in it, and he's like hanging out with Lou and the other guy at the bar, and he like is at the auto mechanic. But
well, he also
after
his
big stand, gone.
Well, he also was with Betsy at the house. Yeah. I gotta throw out some. I gotta throw out some honorable mentions real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
Bear, the middle brother.
Yeah.
I really liked Bear. I thought he was just the most likable of the Gerharts. I thought
before or after he murders his niece in cold blood.
Before, but I still.
She slept with the enemy though.
Yeah, I kind of like. I didn't hate
killed.
him as much for that.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like I thought. Fair. It was like, okay, no, like, that was a reasonable decision. That wasn't...
Yeah. It has to be done.
Yeah, something had to be done. I did think he might agree to the banishment aspect instead. He didn't, obviously. But...
Did not.
They leave you thinking, though, that it was possible until the end.
Yeah.
But I knew he killed her.
I liked Bear throughout. I thought he seemed like the most... He was simple. Bear is simple.
Yeah.
But he seemed like he had he had a reasonable head on his shoulders, I guess. Like he could read the room and go, no, this is we kind of need to listen to the people who are more intelligent than us. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think he ever really wanted.
Well, he's muscle.
He's the muscle for sure, but it's muscle with decent sense. He wasn't like blinded by like Dodd, who was like, Mom can't do it. Mom's a woman. She can't do this. The women are not meant to do it. It's like, he's like, no, doesn't matter that she's a woman. She's the one who has the most experience and is intelligent, so she's going to do it. And I think that's a good thing. And I don't know. I liked Bear, and I also liked the girl at the butcher shop, the young girl that worked the counter. Yeah, Noreen. She was great. She was just a great character. I like seeing her on screen. All right, that's my list. Nice. I took up a lot of time.
No, man. There's lots of really cool characters to talk about. Cobb,
for sure.
I think that number 1 is gonna be Hansi.
Okay.
The Native American guy that works for the Gerharts.
Yep.
He's great. What
such
an
a good arc
character.
Such a good arc.
Wild
he's
ending.
badass. He you see like like the prejudice that people have towards him and everything, and him it's like difficult to like even just get through the simplest of things, like when he just tries to go get a glass of water and it turns into the beginning
triple
of the
homicide.
end, basically.
Yeah.
But no, he's just I just really enjoyed his character, the presence that he had on screen. And like the intricacies of like I think episode 9 when they start to dig into it a little bit more with like the narrator and stuff.
The narrator's cool, yeah.
Dude, that episode is so tight. Episode 9. I loved the book shit, and the narrator is so good, dude. That shit was so
that's one of
good.
the notes I had written down before.
It's like one of the only notes I wrote down was like, wow, that book shit is tight.
Like the history of the Northwest crime syndicates.
So good with the illustrations and everything. It's just like there's so much style to this show. Like
it's amazing.
I didn't even mention it before in my initial review, but the use of split screens is fucking crazy awesome. To show like events that are happening at the same time, and they used it a lot, but they didn't use it so much to where I was getting upset with it. It was just like really well done.
And while we're talking about this, they like the beginning of episode 1, the old school like black and white movie thing that they're filming. With
Reagan, all the Reagan stuff.
The Reagan movie.
With like the guy that played Reagan doesn't look like Reagan.
That's
Bruce Campbell.
The guy. Yeah, Bruce Campbell.
That's the Evil Dead.
No, he doesn't. But he plays him well, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that scene with him and Lou in the bathroom, we can circle back to it, but
that was so great. I forgot about that.
So good. All right, so Hansi number 1.
Yeah, and then number 2 is a combined of Peggy and Ed Blumquist, like just them together. Yeah, I feel like their story arc is very interesting. Both actors did an excellent job. It was just like the whole time I'm just like, man, these people are like so different and they have such different mentalities, and the situation is just so fucked. Like she's so fucking crazy, and he is just such a simple man that wants just like this like 1950s style like life.
He just wants the American dream, man,
in the Midwest. But yeah, I liked the dynamic that they had and the conclusion that happened to their storyline. And then number 3 is it was tough because I really wanted to put like everybody basically in the cast, but my number 3 might be controversial. It's Dodd Gerhart, because I really liked some of the lines that he had were really, really funny.
Amazing.
Like when he is like prisoner the whole time.
Yeah, okay.
He's saying shit. He's like, your wife is fucking crazy.
The prisoner stuff with Dodd was hilarious.
It was so funny. Like, he's a horrible misogynist piece of shit, but he had a weight to him and a presence. He is not as smart as he thinks he is. He's pretty dumb. But he just has really funny lines. I think that's also pairing with the actor's accent that he has for that character. That Midwestern accent that he puts on it is so funny. It's so strange.
It's amazing.
I had to throw him in there. I just enjoyed it too much the second half of the season. And then my honorable mentions is I just wrote down every other character that I didn't mention was my honorable mention because everybody was fucking excellent. Everybody was great. It's hard to like make a top list of 3 when you're like everybody had a good performance. You know?
No, that's fair enough.
Cool. So my top 3, I had a tie for first, but I'm gonna change it because he hasn't been mentioned yet. So my number 1 is Mike Milligan.
Nice.
I'm surprised he's gotten no mentions. I think is so interesting, and he has such gravitas when he's on screen, which I think is really down to Bokeem Woodbine's performance. The way he speaks in riddles and like definitions of words, I think is like so funny and interesting. And he's got kind of a tragic arc also, not as tragic as some others in the show, but I fucking love Mike Milligan. I think he's a wonderful, like, quote. I mean, he is technically kind of the bad guy, but I mean, the scene with Hank in the road is amazing. The scenes with Lou in the typewriter shop are amazing. All the hotel room scenes are great. His dialogue I just think is impeccable, and he's really interesting. I just love the way he works.
Very interesting character.
Yeah, and the Kitchen Brothers, I think, are just a great backdrop for him. You know, like they're silent
bastards,
silently murdering people with sawed-off shotguns, while Milligan just like waxes lyrical about whatever the fuck he wants to. So I did have him tied for first with Ed.
Dude, one of my first notes was just the twins are dead with the like emoji of the hands in the air.
That scene was crazy when Hansi's
but
just
they
like
weren't.
fucks them up.
Just the one was.
Just the one. So
the one.
I'll say number 1 is Mike Milligan. Number 2 I think is Ed. I mean, Jesse Plemons has now put in 3 generational is probably hyperbolic, but 3 really unbelievable television performances in Friday Night Lights and Breaking Bad, and then this. The range that dude has.
Have you seen him in I'm Thinking of Ending Things?
No, I haven't watched that yet. It looks so scary. I don't want to watch it.
It's not scary. It's fucking bizarre.
Yeah.
It is. It's bizarre and it's also boring.
Yeah.
But it not in a bad way. It's boring in like a way that like once you get through it and start reading everything, it's like kind of dope. But it's whether you're willing to sit through that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just Charlie Kaufman in a nutshell.
It is exactly Charlie Kaufman.
Yeah, I want to watch that. He's also amazing in Game Night, which is like I think it's a Jason Sudeikis movie.
I forgot he was in that. He's the neighbor.
He's the cop. He's the neighbor cop. He steals every scene he's in that movie.
He's so weird in that.
He's so fucking funny. But
that's a funny movie. That's a good movie.
Yeah, I love Game Night. That's one of the better comedies of the last few years for me. But yeah, I think in this movie he just is just such like a good dude, and he's just put in the most horrible situation by his wife. And he tries so hard to do the right thing, but like his just like utter exasperation the entire time at the stuff that he has to face is really something else. And I love a lot of the scenes between him and Peggy. They're really, really good. Number 3 is Hank. As we've all said, Hank's just got big season 1 Lou energy. You know, they're like more or less the same character. But I love Ted Danson. I love that at the start of the season, it's kind of unclear whether Hank and Lou actually like each other. You know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's kind of weird, but like it's like a begrudging appreciation of each other because they both care for Betsy. But as the season goes on, it's clear that they have like some kind of relationship. That's my top 3. We're gonna do. I think everyone's already been mentioned for my honorable mentions. Carl, like I said, just his episode in as the lawyer alone, I think would get him into my honorable mentions. But he also has some great, crazy like anti-war, anti-government rants to. I think Sonny is the guy's name, the mechanic.
Yes, I believe you're right. Yeah.
When they're at like the Reagan rally and earlier at the bar, Betsy, of course, I think she's really delightful. Such a tragic character.
Very, yeah.
Because you know that she dies even though she doesn't in the show.
Yeah, there's a couple of things like that. Because I don't remember from season 1 when Lou gets shot either. Like, so I was expecting it to happen at some point during this show.
Yeah, because he has the limp in season 1, right?
Yeah, and he even mentions, I'm pretty sure he does mention when he got shot in season 1. I just don't remember what it was because it's been a minute since we've watched it, and it was kind of an offhand comment, I think. Part of a much more interesting plot or story or whatever.
Right. It's not the main focus of that time.
Yeah, so I was just really expecting, especially during the final shootout, for Lou to just take a bullet.
Yeah.
And then that was his, like, either retirement. Well, he was too young to retire.
Yeah.
But maybe his,
that was
like...
Hank's
his,
retirement.
Yeah, that was definitely Hank's retirement. But I was expecting him to, like, take the bullet and, like, that was maybe his move to, like, a desk position.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
And then maybe him taking up cooking at home more often because he's, like, coming home more regularly because he has the desk position. Yeah. And then realizing that he wants to, like,
Own a
like,
little
I don't
diner.
know, and making an offhand comment to Betsy, like,
Yeah.
you know, I could run a diner or some
Yeah.
shit like that.
Yeah.
I was expecting, which I appreciate they didn't do, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do appreciate, like, this stuff is going to happen in the future, and they kind of did. I don't want to say an overhanded thing, but they did do a thing where, like, Betsy has that flash forward.
Yeah.
Where
I forgot
it. Like,
I forgot that happened. I was pretty thrown off by that when she sees Molly.
Unfortunately, when I was looking up character names and stuff, because I couldn't remember, so I was, like, on a Wikipedia page looking at character names, avoiding all the plot
Did you see
synopsises.
Allison Tolman in there?
I saw, I just was, like, looking, and there was Keith Cardinay as older Lou on special guests listing. And I was like, well, shit, they're going to have, like, a flash forward or something. And then it happened. But, like, that was a little, I feel like, overhanded in a way.
Yeah.
Like, especially based on the fact that they didn't do the other traditional stuff of, like, I was talking about with, like, Lou either getting shot or mentioning something about I could run a diner or some
I could run a diner.
we were talking about like if he, like, got shot in this and then was in the kitchen or whatever and was, like, started cooking more and it was like, oh yeah, I could do this shit.
Yeah.
But regardless, I do appreciate that they didn't do any of that. They ended it with Betsy not being dead and Lou not being shot. So all that stuff is still in their future. This is really more or less its own story with not a lot other than one thing that I don't know if we want to talk about right now.
I mean, we're in the spoilers, so we can talk about whatever we want.
Yeah, I mean, we can. We could maybe also save it.
I do want to say that I liked the flash forward a lot.
The flash forward was cool. Don't get me wrong.
It was one of the moments that did make me tear up a little bit. Just like seeing those. It was just like all I had to do was see Molly. And the fam, and I was just like,
Greta.
all right.
Yeah.
I just was getting choked up already. Pip was laying on me, you know. Yeah, I liked it. I also liked that it was just like her having like this like dream of events in the future. It was like nice. It was like heartwarming that she knew like that they would be fine. They would get on with it, you know.
Yeah, she's really wonderful.
She's
amazing.
so good.
She's a heartbreaker, dude. I mean, she also.
Sure.
I also thought she was gonna die when she collapsed. I thought that was her death. I was like, "Fuck."
Even
same.
the second time, I thought she was gonna die, and I was devastated. Speaking of her, I can't remember her name as an actress, like her actual name, but she's in Palm Springs with Andy Samberg. It's a Hulu movie that came out this summer.
Seen it.
It's really good.
Kristen Milioti.
Yeah, thank you.
Milioti.
Kristen Milioti, yeah, she's in Palm Springs. She's the lead, the co-lead with Andy Samberg, and it's really wonderful. I loved it.
She's
Maybe
great.
And she's really great in that. She's also, what'd you say, Cobb?
I said maybe you'll have to bring it.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, that's true. I could bring it. I don't know if it's that high on my list, but it is fun.
One day.
She's also. Do y'all watch How I Met Your Mother? Either of you?
No, I don't. Like that show.
You know what? Yeah, I haven't seen all of it, but I have seen the episode she's in, so I know who she is.
Okay,
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, she's the proverbial mother of How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
Oh fuck!
She
That's
doesn't.
A spoiler, dude.
That's why
She
I was
doesn't come in
beating around
until the
bush.
9th fucking season, and she's only. That show ends so poorly that I will never recommend it to anyone, no matter how much I enjoyed the first few seasons when I was a freshman in college.
I just feel like everything I've seen of that show, like the parts of the episodes I've seen and stuff, it's just like not my thing. I'm just like, it's not that
it's
good.
just like it's
fine.
It
was fun. When I watched it for a little while, it was fun.
It's a network sitcom that's like fine. I feel like it's filler, but a lot of people like love it.
So,
you know,
it's not as good as people think it is, but it's fine. All right, so Mike, Ed, Hank,
the blue horn. Am I right?
Yeah, the blue horn. Yeah,
stop
the
it.
Smurf horn.
I don't know anything about it. I just know it's at the end.
So Mike, Ed, Hank, and then Carl, Betsy, Hansi, Noreen are my honorable mentions. Do you want me to do my least favorite, or should I go back to Trevor, top of the order?
Wait, are we doing a least favorite list?
I didn't know we were doing a least.
I don't have least favorites prepared.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was in my text earlier.
Wait, I can rock it off the top of my head. Let's go.
All right,
now
I'll go. No, I'll go because I have one. My My least
you did
favorites.
put in the text. Oh,
My least favorites are number 1, Peggy. Number 2, Peggy. Number 3, Peggy. And then honorable mention is Dodd. And that's that's not to say that I didn't enjoy.
Peggy, and Dodd were in my fave list though.
I know, and I think Peggy is wonderful as a performance and as a catalyst for plot. But I've never, like, she's one of truly the most, like, love to hate characters I've seen in television recently. Mm-hmm. I hate everything she does. She ruins Ed's life. It's all her. Everything that pops off in this film is because of her. And Dodd...
She's crazy.
She's insane. Yeah, she's crazy, for sure. And she has a lot of really wonderful stuff. Like you mentioned, in the cabin with Dodd, those scenes are hilarious.
Those
and
are
I think
funny.
her monologue with Lou in the cop car at the end is absolutely fucking devastating.
It's so hard to listen to.
It's
like in
devastating.
a good way.
I loved it.
Yeah,
in a good way.
It's so
like
good.
Just the whole time, Lou is like,
there are people that are dead.
You fucked it.
She's like, I'm the victim. Oh,
yeah, Lou's so
you.
matter of fact, and she's like, and everything she says is really hard to argue against too, which I think is another thing that I appreciate about her. Like, yes, like women are so disrespected at that time in American history and the world history, I'm sure, and it didn't stop there. But like everything she says is legit, and then Lou just like brings it back down to earth with like, but people are dead. You know, it's just like it's simple as that.
But like it's also like before all the deaths and everything, it's like the constant pressure of her husband wanting to have children and for her basically to be a stay-at-home wife.
Yeah.
And like she clearly did not want to be in that role.
Yeah.
Which
No,
like
you know,
they fuck and she instantly takes birth control to stay on schedule. Like
it's like that's the thing I think that most annoyed me about her was it's like, fine. You know what? You don't want to have kids? That's totally fine. It's your choice. You're in a committed relationship. Tell him.
Yeah, I mean, that's the type of thing that, like, that had to have probably been talked about before marriage. Like,
yeah. Like if
that's a big thing.
Like, if you don't want to have kids, that's totally fine. But don't go behind his back and actively sabotage that. Like...
Yeah, it's tough for me. Like I like both sides make sense so much, and it's like it's sad that they love each other but are together and are not able to really talk about it because they just as people like for some reason can't talk to each other,
which is so and like also
they don't listen.
One thing I will say, her wanting to improve herself is great. That's a very powerful thing as like a woman or whatever. Go do what you think will improve you as a person.
I feel like those seminars aren't going to do shit, though.
No, that seminar is a scam.
Yeah.
And you knew that there was a deadline for this business that is going to then pay for your seminar in the future.
Yeah. Which
waiting the year for the seminar would not have been a huge deal. It happens every year. The lady already said it happened. She went to it last year. Yeah. We already know it happens every year. Buying the butcher shop is not an every year occurrence.
No, that's a thing that is not going to happen all the time.
That is an investment, whereas her seminar might improve her as a person, but is available to happen again.
Yeah.
That was super messed up that she just took the money for that.
I do want to say also that her like boss, I assume she owns the hairstyling business.
Is
also manipulating her. Yeah,
she's awful.
She was honorable mentions for least favorite for me.
Yeah,
and
I guess I should.
Happy she died. Honestly,
I think that she would be one of my least favorites if I were to make that list. Yeah. Or are we still going through that list?
I guess I should do mine now.
I don't have. I'll do mine. I got
one.
All right, rip it.
Rip it, Trev. Number 1, Peggy. Number 2, Dodd. Number 3,
he's great.
Number 3 is Peggy, and then honorable mention would be the boss.
Yeah,
the hairstylist
boss. Yeah.
That's my least favorite. Peggy is the worst.
Yeah.
She could have very easily, like, if they had just gone to the police, she probably wouldn't have even gone to prison. If she had just gotten out of the car, walked over to the payphone that was in sight, would have seen a dead body already and then called the cops, and they probably would have been like, well, you did hit a guy, but he also just murdered 3 people. So you're off the hook. I don't think
she wouldn't have gone to jail. It was an accident. He was in the street.
Absolutely would not have gone to jail. Instead, she drives off, convinces her husband that his act of self-defense was murder, and gets him to get into this plot to hide the body.
Yeah.
What? Just I would
She's
the
insane.
whole time. Every time anything bad starts happening with her, I'm like, you should have just called the cops from the get-go.
Yeah.
Like, even after taking the body home, you know what would have happened at that point? In shock, she still probably would have been off the hook.
Yeah.
Especially for this time period, she would have absolutely been off the hook.
This season does a really amazing job of suspense. There are a few moments that jump back to me from season 1 in terms of like me not being able to breathe or being on the edge of my proverbial seat. But I think that this one ratchets that up even higher. Obviously, the first one being, I think it's episode 1 when Ed gets home and Peggy is just going about her business like she didn't murder a person. And
dude, when that happened, I thought she was cheating and was hiding a lover.
That's amazing.
It didn't even cross my mind for some reason that she was the one that hit him, because they don't show the person in the car until after it's revealed.
Yeah.
I thought the exact same thing.
I was like, she's fucking cheating.
No way. Oh,
I really thought that she was cheating too.
You hear a noise in the other room and she tries to cover it up? Come on, that's cheating.
That's nuts. Cheating. I guess it's just because I maybe have seen it before and I can't recall my organic reaction to it, but that scene where you hear the thumping in the garage and like the flickering flashlight, it's like horror movie shit. And then
honorable mention to Rye, because
I was gonna bring him back.
Culkin is great.
Kieran Culkin, baby. He would be honorable. I mean, I guess he is honorable mention least favorite. He's a total fucking scumbag.
I love that actor though.
He's so good.
He always plays the same character. But
Succession, yeah, he's just so good in Succession that how can you hate him?
It's the same character, except in Succession he's like a rich yuppie. Mm-hmm. Same thing though.
So just circling back to suspense real quick, you have that moment, the moment of the fingertip in the butcher shop when Lou comes in to buy some meat. That shit is absolutely fucking harrowing.
That shit was tense, yeah.
You have the pretty much any moment with Hansi in the first like 5 or 6 episodes when he's just like tracking people, or like in the police station where he's like creeping around the outside of the station trying to find a way in. That's all very suspenseful. When Ed comes back to the cabin and sees Peggy on the ground and then is being hung, and you're like going back and forth.
Crazy.
You're going back and forth with Dodd, like lecturing Ed about how crazy his wife is, and like Peggy.
That's another reason why I liked Dodd. I was like, that scene is great.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. There's just a lot of really, really good suspenseful moments in this season.
Should I riddle off my least favorite list?
Yeah, hit me.
Least favorite, number 1, the guys in the bar that are mean to Hansi.
There he is. The bartender
they're
first?
Bastards. The bartender and just the dudes that are harassing him outside.
Yeah.
They're racist bastards. Fuck those guys.
That scene is so fucking great. He just kneecaps
so
the
good.
3 of them and then like thinks about it and goes back inside and just shoots the fucking bartender in the chest.
The bartender started it, you know?
Yeah, he spit in his fucking water.
Number 2, the chief cop guy from either North or South Dakota. It's impossible.
Ben Schmidt, the guy who's Lou's partner. Oh no, the fat guy. The fat guy.
The guy who tells Lou to go home.
Yeah,
was that
piece of shit?
Fuck that guy. He's a coward. He's a coward bitch.
I want to say that was South Dakota.
One of the Dakotas. And then number 3 is gonna be the Kitchen Twins. Because they're
it's really interesting how much you hate them. I feel like they're not that hateable. They're just silent guys who are muscle.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like I hated even looking at them. I'm like, fuck these guys, dude.
That's
They think
so
they're like,
interesting.
They think they're like 1920s gangsters, like wearing their fucking white suit and leather jacket and shit with their fucking hats.
I think they're awesome. I mean, they're nowhere near Numbers and Wrench, but they're pretty dope.
They're pretty good.
As
But
far
yeah,
as
that
muscle
was
goes.
my list. I feel like my list is very solid.
I will say that it's amazing how different our lists actually were this time. Like, yeah, we had
Yeah.
definitely some overlap, but like a lot of the time with shows, it's like I feel like we have very similar lists.
Yeah,
This
I
one
think
was-
it
I
just,
feel like
it
my
just
lists
speaks-
are always different.
It's just I think it speaks to how good and how varied the cast is in this show. So before we move on to specifics about plot and stuff, I did my research today. I came like prepared with a full notes app list of notes.
Sad.
It got deleted right as we began to record because I tried to open it on my MacBook from my iPhone, and for some reason it vanished. So pretty pissed about that. But
That MacBook is from 1998, right?
Yeah, 1997 actually. So the list got vanished. But there are a few things. I did some research today. There are some really good YouTube videos about season 1 and season 2 in particular. Obviously, the connections are pretty overt. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Cobb.
before you jump into that, because I want to see if I'm right after you watch this video, is are the two kids at the end that are signing to each other, are they Hammer and Wrench?
Yeah, Numbers and Wrench. Yeah.
Numbers and Wrench, all right.
Yeah.
They're them?
Yes. So okay.
Yeah!
So here's the thing,
Oh,
right?
that's
So
cool. Okay, I got the other
So-
one, which is
so Hansi, there's a scene that's the last episode, right? Or is it season 9?
Yeah.
Episode
the
9.
last.
So the last episode, Hansi, do you want to talk, Trev, or are you?
Trevor's
Yeah.
got his hand up.
Yeah,
I
go
do
ahead,
wanna
Trev.
So
say
far up,
that
I can't even see his hand.
this is the thing that I picked up on about Hansi is that he became the mob boss in season 1 that got
Yep.
murdered by
By
what do
Lorne
I always
Malvo.
forget? Yeah, by Lorne Malvo. Whenever he went and like he was the big Italian guy that was like eating at dinner that one time,
Yep.
like just like stuffing
Yeah.
his face, and it was
Yeah.
Tripoli. I was like,
Yeah,
they said the
so-
name, and I was like, I know that name. I
So
know that
That's
name.
crazy. I did not know that. That's crazy.
Neither did I. And this is my second time watching both seasons. So the speech he gives to the
I got
guy on the bleachers is the exact speech he says in season 1. The only time you see the head of the Fargo crime syndicate, he's like talking at dinner over a big plate, like a big table, and he says the exact speech that Hansi says to the guy about death is death and whatever the fuck. So yes, so Hansi becomes Moses Tripoli, an Italian crime boss in Fargo, North Dakota. So he runs the Fargo crime syndicate that Lorne Malvo eviscerates in season 1. He
That we don't
breaks
get to
up.
see.
He breaks up the fist fight between Child Numbers and Child Wrench and some bullies. Obviously, they are now indebted to him, so they become his number 1 and number 2 hitmen, which I think is fucking awesome.
That's really cool.
Second thing, Ben Schmidt, the shit cop that Lou works with this entire time, who's always bitching
Yeah.
out and always being an asshole, he is Gus's boss in season 1.
Really?
Yeah, the short, pudgy, white-haired guy who
Yeah.
shits on Gus the entire season in the bathroom.
Really?
He is Ben Schmidt, and
Well, he got a promotion.
he got a
He
promotion.
did say he
Getting a
was getting
promotion next month.
Oh
And-
my god, I forgot about
You're a
that.
shit
And
cop.
Lou mentions him in the diner when Gus comes in the first, I think maybe the first or second time, waiting for Molly, and he's like, "Oh, Duluth PD, do you know Ben Schmidt?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's my boss." And he's like, "Yeah, that guy's kind of a prick, isn't he?" And they like talk shit about him.
Oh my god, I totally didn't get that
Damn.
one. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
neither did I. So there's some really, that's like, that's stuff that's just that's my fucking bread and butter, man. That's so dope that they
That's good.
took the time to do that.
The next
All right.
thing can we talk about is what's up with the aliens? Can we dig
What?
deep?
Yeah.
Yeah,
into
yeah.
what's up with the
I think
aliens?
that was my first.
Will,
that was
what's
my
up with
first
the
note.
aliens?
Dude, I have no idea. I think that's the biggest part of like how weird the season is that there's just there's UFOs
Aliens.
throughout. I mean,
Like,
and it's
there's,
not
like,
even subtle.
stickers all
So,
over the place. People have like stickers that are like
Yep.
they're here or
Yeah.
Yep.
whatever.
So apparently, because Abby did some reading, because she watched this season immediately after we watched season 1.
Oh, no way.
So she watched this ages ago.
That's
She's been
amazing.
waiting for me to watch it to talk to her about it.
Did she love it?
She kept bugging me like, watch season 2 so I could talk to you about it. And I didn't. I was like, I gotta wait for the podcast.
That's incredible. Shout out to Abby, bro. God damn
But
it.
yeah,
Nice.
no, she liked it. Not as much as season 1, but she still liked it. She was telling me that apparently it's because in that area in Minnesota, there was a lot of, and just I guess the Midwest, there was a lot of UFO sightings in 1979. And because they wanted, like the writers wanted there to be something weird in she was telling me something about how like the writers, they wanted there to be a weird thing in the show that is not really talked about that much, that is not explained and not gone back to at all. She said that the writers compared it to like in the movie when the cop lady goes on that date with her friend, that awkward date, and then it's not talked about ever again.
Yeah,
they wanted it to be like that, is what she was telling me. So I don't know. I don't know what other explanation is, but it's weird.
Yeah, it's so strange, and like it's such a pretty heavy plot device too, for like.
Yeah, I mean, it's used in so many moments, like as like a big thing, as a big
it's used in
arc.
2 major ones that I can think of. It's kind of mentioned throughout, but like for more than anything, the 2 major moments are right at the beginning.
Yeah, Rye,
which is which gets Rye like distracted and walking in the middle of the road to get hit.
Classic
and
Rye.
I guess launches his shoe up in the tree.
That I don't know, because I thought I had missed that or something. I was like, why is I still don't understand.
the shoe's in the tree because he gets hit by the car.
Oh, okay, so that does launch his shoe off into the tree.
the car launches his shoe. Okay.
Yeah, not the UFO.
Okay.
No, he gets hit
And
by the
then-
car and his shoe flies up into the tree.
And then at the end, during the gunfight, it distracts Bear long enough for
Lou to shoot him in the fucking dome.
Lou to shoot him through the
Yeah. Better not put that one in the report, am I right?
which I did appreciate. Where like also Hank, he didn't seem like he was in a position to see the UFO from inside the hotel room he was in, but he just straight up believes him. He's like, so there was a UFO, and he's just
He
like,
probably saw some crazy lights because it still illuminated like the area.
It did still
like
illuminate
crazy.
the area a lot, but like that was wild.
It was a really dope flying saucer, though.
It was
Can
cool.
we
but it was
can we just talk about Peggy being like, it's just a UFO, hun, and like pulling Ed away
Because
from it?
she's
That-
insane.
She's a
She's
crazy
insane.
person.
The bitch
We're
thought
gonna
there
talk-
was
hold
smoke
on.
coming inside the in the cooler at the end.
That
Let's
was
talk about
so
it. Let's dive into
tragic.
it. We don't know anything
No,
about the aliens.
we're gonna
Let's
talk.
dive into
No,
it.
I want to finish the alien talk, and then we're gonna go into how crazy Peggy is.
Okay,
We don't know anything about the aliens.
But the aliens was just such a weird thing, and like I was talking to when I first started this season. I mentioned to a coworker, like when we were changing shifts or whatever, I was like, "Hey, I'm watching Fargo season 2. I'm like 1 episode in, and I was like, dude, what's the deal with the aliens? Like, what's the deal?" And he's like, he's really good about spoilers because he's like a big movie, TV show buff kind of guy.
Unlike me.
And
Was it Vinny?
no, this is my friend Eric. Eric, if you're listening, hey, what's up?
Shout out
Hey,
Eric.
Eric.
Shout out Eric. Yeah, he was just like, the only thing he told me was like, yeah, it's weird, and it only really ever comes back up one other time in the show. Like, seriously. The rest of the time, it's just kind of, I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, that's weird. Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of
It's
love
just-
it.
Yeah. It's one of the things that's too weird for me, and that made it fall down from leveling at a 9.5 with the original season, just because like it's so weird
Really?
and like not talked about, and like it's used as such a major plot device. It's like
Like, objectively, I feel like if I was just told how that happened, especially with the final shootout, I would probably have been mad about it. Where it's like, that's such a Deus Ex Machina bullshit, like something
such a
coming out of
huge
nowhere
plot
to
device.
save Lou's life or whatever. But then,
and to kill Rye.
Is that why? Was he stopped in the middle of the road looking at the UFO, and that's why Peggy
Oh,
was
He was
like,
yeah.
looking at the UFO in the beginning.
that's different. That's fine. That one I didn't mind.
How is
There's-
that fine? It's the same thing. It's a Gerhart being distracted and then dying.
It's different in the sense that I don't know why, but it's different in my mind between the two.
It's different because you didn't like Rye and you liked Bear.
No, I didn't want Bear to kill. I would wanted Bear to die in that moment. it's still just, I don't know. It's the fact that it's saving someone as opposed to being a distraction. Like, the first time I see it, I'm like, that's weird, but that's kind of interesting. Like, they couldn't figure out why he walked out in the middle of the road after the shootout. He left his car behind, and that was the reason. And that was kind of interesting. If I was told on paper why Bear got distracted, it was because of a flying saucer for no fucking reason, I would be mad at, like, it being just a bullshit, like, Ex Machina thing. But instead, it's just, it worked for some reason. For some reason, I liked it, and it made sense. It has no reason to make sense. I'm trying to logically think why it made sense. It doesn't, but I still thought it did at the time. I was like, that's kind of cool, and like left it at that. I don't know why. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm ranting.
It's okay.
You are.
We love the
classic.
rant. Classic Trevor rant. It's not an ep if we don't have a Trevor rant.
That's fair. Okay, Peggy. Peggy's crazy.
Peggy, I mean, I think we just, again, have to shout out Kirsten Dunst for this performance. She is so good in this show.
Yeah. Incredibly delusional character.
Yeah, I mean, and I can't imagine that it's easy to play somebody who is that detached from reality, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
for her to
have
just
multiple realities.
She just comes home with a dude in her goddamn windshield, parks the car in the garage, cooks dinner, is worried about her fucking magazine organization on Ed's chair, like, is trying to be like, oh, don't worry about the noise, Ed. Like, I don't know what it is.
Can we talk about the magazines a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think, an aspect of her delusion.
Yeah, she's a hoarder.
She just keeps all these magazines. Like,
when they go into the basement, it's like so scary.
Trevor, you ever been zapped with a cattle prod?
No, but I could if I wanted to right now, but I'd rather not.
Go get it. Go get it. Let's be the first podcast to zap a co-host on air.
Go get one and then point it at Pa and say, "Give me another beer."
First of all, he was definitely using some sort of modified taser version because our prod does not arc across at all.
But that's the 70s, though. That's probably old
Yeah, the
tech.
70s were more brutal.
I guess, yeah. And we also don't use it very often.
I've never seen it.
It's kind of mean.
I was
All the cows are good. They go where they need to go.
They go.
I was so hyped.
What do you mean?
When they don't go where they're supposed to go, that's when it comes out. Otherwise,
they're good. You give them a pat. You give them a pat on the back. You say, "Good girl," and then they keep going.
Good cow.
Sometimes they start to like freak and back up on you as a person. It's like I don't want to
do that.
I don't want to get crushed to death right now. So a little like buzz, and then they step forward, and it's fine.
How dare you? Why don't you give them a little treat? Why don't you give them a little treat and maybe they'll
regardless, go I'm sure it hurts a lot, but I don't think it would cause someone to pass out. But that
if
one was
she
also
held it on his chest,
that one was heavy duty. Yeah,
that one was way more heavy duty and definitely was holding it on his chest.
That's a 70s cattle prod being pressed into your sternum for like a good 10, 15 seconds.
That could
people could also take a lot more electricity in the 70s when you think about it.
They loved getting shocked back then.
Yeah.
Can we? All right. So can I improvise? Like, what do you think was the funniest scene in this show?
Oh God, funniest scene.
Dodd when he's captured in the cabin.
The stabbing, the Dodd being stabbed when sitting there.
Yeah, it's a combo between that and
the beans.
Dodd.
She's crazy.
And
don't leave me with her.
And Ed, when Ed first comes home to find Peggy on the steps and Dodd tied up at the bottom of the steps, and he's like, she's thinking of the movie, right? The movie scene.
Yeah.
And Dodd is like, his eyes are like real wide and he's like actually scared.
Yeah.
He's like,
I feel like I'm also counting that though, because it's like this continuous.
It's the same energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because the first time it wasn't the movie, it was the guy that was head of the
right. Sorry. Yeah.
The
actualization guy.
The scam actualization thing. Because I did look up that LifeSpring was a real thing that I think still exists. Actually, I think it's still around. And it's. I didn't finish reading the article, but the gist I got from it was it's pretty much bullshit. So
yeah.
Did you throw in an application, Trevor?
Yeah, totally. I'm gonna go.
The show The Americans, which honestly will maybe feature in the future on our podcast is a show that
I
also
haven't
think
seen it,
is-
but I heard it's excellent.
Yeah,
it's
same.
fucking unbelievable. But it takes place in a similar time period, late 60s, early 70s, and the father of the family that it centers around goes to a similar thing. I think it was just like it was new wave health back at that time period to like actualize and realize your potential and all that type of bullshit, which we all know now is just like marketing shenanigans.
Yeah,
but,
it's a bunch of dumb
but was very enticing to them at that time because it was like, well, I can be
But I
who
feel
I
like-
want to be.
They had such a nice little house, dude. I loved their house. It was
Yeah.
Their house is
really
great.
excellent.
What are they
They
fucking
had a sunken
complaining
living
about?
room. It was a
And you know
beautiful
what?
little house. They had a garage. They had a basement.
That basement could have been awesome if it wasn't full of magazines. That could have been
Dude,
a
right.
finished basement.
I
with,
actually loved that house so much. The style of that house was so cool looking.
it was cool. It's
Yeah.
a nice little house. Like,
that was a quaint life.
When they get down into the basement with Dodd and all his henchmen, and it's just fucking rows, like library rows of magazines, I was so
that's what
terrified.
Peggy, I knew from the get go, more or less. It was like, wow, there's something a little off about her, and then it gets
Yeah.
worse and worse, and then and then the magazine storage in the basement is
it
just
just
like,
escalates and escalates.
oh shit, this person's actually got a mental issue. Like,
Do you
this
think-
is like,
Do you think the peak of the escalation is that moment or the moment she stabs Dodd twice because his
No, the stabbing.
for the beans?
The stabbing thing was where I really realized she was crazy.
the stabbing where he's being
Like
rude
truly
to her?
crazy.
Yeah.
That shit is so funny, and
And
she's
He comes
force
home and he's
feeding
like,
him beans.
you gotta stop stabbing him.
She can't stab the hostage.
I just love his reaction to that is so amazing.
Yeah, the
And-
force feeding the beans was creepy as shit.
And then it's like after 3 bites, she's like, "Oh,
She's like, oh,
you didn't want beans, did you?" And he's
I'm
like,
sorry.
No, they're good. Like
they're
it's
good,
okay."
it's fine.
She's like wiping it up too on his mouth with the spoon like he's a baby.
Like a
It's
baby.
Oh,
such a-
she's
it's
so-
such
For
a
someone that
bizarre-
doesn't want kids, she's pretty motherly, I guess, in a way. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, the
Oh,
energy
shit.
is wild.
And then he's staring at them while they're sleeping, and he puts the bag over his head or the pillowcase, and he's like, he's so sad about it. He's like, oh.
Dodd is
that-
really. I mean, he's horrible, but he's really funny. Like when he.
No,
we haven't
he's
mentioned.
so
we haven't
funny.
mentioned his nephew at all. I don't know his name, but Bear's son.
Oh yeah,
that was
I felt
with
bad
the-
for
with the
him.
give
He
hand,
should have. He should have immediately when he went into that butcher shop and that nice cashier girl was there and they hit it off.
Yeah.
they should have gotten married. Right then and there.
100%, bro. They
Yeah,
were
He
so
should have.
cute.
He wanted to ditch crime anyway. He called back on the phone and said, "I want to go back to college." Or
Yeah,
whatever.
why didn't
Yeah.
the guy make him come back in?
You
Because
could-
the guy was
he had a
mean as
life.
fuck. He had a scar
He
on
had
his
a
face.
life.
The
It's
guy
sad.
was instructed. I don't know. I feel like the guy could have realized what the deal was, and then I don't
done it
but
himself. He could have. He should have just done it himself.
He could have just
Yeah.
gone in, and it probably would have gone better if he had gone in and done it himself.
Oh, it for sure would have.
But
What was
but-
what was your
He might have
favorite
killed the
shootout
kid, but
scene
still.
or like action scene?
action scene.
The end one was crazy. The one at the hotel.
At the motel, yeah.
Yeah, that shit was tight. That shit
Yeah,
was really
Hansi coming through and just like murking everybody because they were all distracted
Dude,
with each other.
The
That was
shotgun
good.
blasts in this show are so satisfying.
They're
When
so ridiculous.
When they shoot someone and the person flies across the room doing
That's
like
not how it
a
works.
full flip. Trevor, you've never shot someone, all right? So
But that's-
enough with this IMFDB shit.
Do you
all
want-
right?
do you want me to
and
tell you
Will-
why that's a-
me and Will
No.
have played Call of Duty. All right, we've been to Nam, all right? in game.
First of all, I've also played Call of Duty.
I
Second
played
of
Black
all,
Ops 1. I played
Second of
Battlefield
all-
Vietnam.
I will tell you why that doesn't work. Do you want to know why that
Here he
doesn't work?
goes. Yeah, dude, keep your sponsorship. Come on.
Physics.
Get your free swag, Trevor.
Every action has an
Swag
equal and
bag.
opposite reaction. In order for the person that
What?
shot, in
Dude,
order
I
for the
failed physics. All right, I don't know what you're talking about.
I was physics senior of the year. Thank you
I
very
was
much.
physics
Holy
loser of the
fucking
year, dude. They gave out a loser of the year award, and
I got a medal. I got a medal for physics.
you-
I
I'm
got
not-
a medal of dishonor.
I did. I'm not kidding. In high school,
You
I
got
got a medal.
physics medal?
Yeah. I wasn't even that good at it. I just stayed and like helped the teacher grade papers after class because the next class after my physics class, my girlfriend was in that chemistry class, so I just stayed.
Classic.
But regardless, I was decent at
sucking
physics.
up to the physics teacher.
Anyways,
Brown nosed Trevor.
just at the time. No, but like, in order for somebody to fly back that far from being shot by anything, the person holding it would have been pushed back equally as far. Roughly.
Was that Isaac Newton?
No, isn't that Einstein that did equal an opposite
know,
reaction?
I'm dumb, dude. I don't know shit.
Was that Newton?
Isn't that Thomas Jefferson?
It was not Thomas Jefferson.
Dude, wasn't that Karl Marx?
Wasn't it Carl Weathers?
Wasn't that Bruce
Regardless.
Springsteen?
Regardless, that's why. Like, it's cool, and I do love whenever that shit happens, but it's not real.
Doesn't sound like you love it. Sounds like you hate
Yeah,
it.
it sounds like you hate it, dude.
I like it depending on the media it's in. This one, I thought it was a little overdone.
If you liked it, you'd be like me and Will, where we were like, that was tight.
It was
You'd have a
Newton.
fucking
I'm sorry,
raging
Jacob. You're
bone
right.
bone right now, if you liked it.
Jacob, you're right. It was Newton, by the way. I'm sorry.
Oh!
Who's the physics
who's the
guy
guy
now?
right?
Who's the... I'm dabbing hard, dude.
That is Newton's third law. Regardless,
Dude, I knew
Fucking third law, damn it.
like, someone will
Dude, give me
fall.
your medal. Next time I see you, I want the medal.
I don't even know where that medal is. But
Yeah, but it's right behind you. It's on that big plaque right
You're
behind
wearing it right now. What do you mean?
you. Dude, you're wearing
No,
you have one of
no.
those gray wigs on, like those 1700s.
the powder wigs, powdered wigs.
You're cosplaying as Newton.
Shut up! Don't talk about that. Don't.
Wow.
But regardless,
do you guys have any other like cool shit to talk about?
No, I mean, I think you should just watch this show. It's really hard to talk
Yeah.
about. It's so...
You gotta
There's
watch
so
the show.
much. There's just so much to talk about.
I am kind of sad that Ed died.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
feel
thought-
like it was a good ending for him though, because like he was not
Happy
made for
at
that
all.
life, and
I
he was very unhappy.
I gotta say, I love that he is dying, and he's like, "Yeah,
breaks
this
up
is."
with her.
Yeah, he breaks up with her while he's dying.
It's like, I don't know if
I
this is going to
love
work,
that.
Peg. Yeah.
I
think it's
love
great.
that. That was so good.
I think their ending was excellent because he is still in reality as he's dying.
Yeah.
And he's
Well,
listening to his delusional
as he always
wife,
been.
And she's like, and she's just like talking about fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
Still,
I do-
her husband's dying, and all she could talk about is nonsense.
I
She's
do
like, this
love
is like
poor
the movie Ed.
Yeah, I do love poor Ed trying to call for the ransom or
Yeah.
whatever, and he has to keep
Just over and
very
over.
calling.
He's like
like-
not getting through. He's like, no, your boss, man. I fucking got him.
That's a great payoff where we're hearing that fucking lackey from New Jersey like keep bringing the phone to Bear and being
Who
like,
was
hey,
that guy?
he's just like he's like Associated Family, I guess. He's like Associated Crime Syndicate.
I just don't remember him. Like, I don't remember why. Like, I remember him showing up, and the
They
first
called
scene he
in
was there.
reinforcements once they declared war on Fargo.
I thought he was great. I liked him. a
But
lot.
why was he Bear's lackey?
I
don't
just
get-
think there was no one else for him to be a lackey for at that point. Rye was
Yeah,
dead.
Bear
Dodd was
the
Dodd
highest
was
male
gone.
member there.
And then he's
Floyd.
not gonna
Floyd
he's not
was
gonna
the
report
head.
to a woman.
Because
Can't
it's not
report to a
29,
woman.
brother.
Is that why? Like, that just seems. I don't know.
but-
It's just like that. That was the one thing that kind of confused me was where the fuck did this guy come from?
Yeah,
And
he came from Jersey.
Why?
And I think that payoff was really good of the episode where you're hearing about someone calling over and over, and Bear's just like doesn't have fucking time for it, and then they kind of jump back to show us.
Well, Bear
Ed
doesn't
and
want
Peggy
Dodd
and
back. He
Dodd.
wants Dodd to stay gone. Things
Yeah.
are going better now.
Well,
I
that's- and
gotta
that's-
say.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, let's finish this thought before.
I was going to say
going
that's
somewhere
that's
else.
evidenced in the fact where like when they storm the motel, Bear is like walking through the hotel rooms with the shotgun at the ready, being like, "Dodd, like brother, where are you?" Like he's
Yeah.
because you can tell his plan is to shoot fucking Dodd in the face and then just
Yeah.
say like, "Oh, he got shot by the cops" or some shit like that.
Exactly what Hansi did.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll
Shout out to Hansi's
was-
Hansi's turnaround, dude.
That was nice. That was
a
nice
great
that he just shot
play
that
both
guy.
sides.
Yeah,
Man,
shot
I
Dodd.
wanted him to be able to get a haircut, though, man. All he wanted
I
was a
did
haircut.
want the haircut to happen, yeah.
But at the same time, I didn't because his hair was dope.
There's another suspense scene of Peggy going back and forth. Like, is she gonna stab him? Is she gonna cut
I thought
his
she was
hair?
going to just kill him.
I thought she
like,
was too, because
This bitch is
fucking
crazy.
Ed kept giving her looks like,
do it. Yeah, stab
you
him.
know,
Do it.
like that's
Like-
it was a lot.
Honestly, if I was in that situation, I probably would have been like, no, just give him the haircut, and he'll probably just leave. Honestly,
Yeah,
like based
same.
on his, give him the haircut, and then that'll be
Give
it.
him the benefit
We'll all
of the
go our-
doubt.
Like, it sucks that you lost your ransom, but still,
Yeah,
let him go. But I gotta
Dope
point out,
cabin. Can we say
yeah,
dope cabin?
very cool cabin.
One
gotta-
day, we'll have a dope cabin like that, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
the three of us.
Yeah, we'll go in on it like a timeshare.
Hell yeah.
I gotta say, the corporate ending with the Kansas City crime syndicate, with
Yeah.
how corporate they were, I was not expecting that.
It was
With,
sad
what is it,
It
Mike?
was very sad.
for Mike. Yeah,
Also,
Yeah,
mini shout out, doesn't have to lead to anything, but mini shout out to the brother from Everybody Loves Raymond.
yeah,
Yeah, he was great. He was fantastic with his hair.
So good. Yeah,
He's-
but yeah, the corporate stuff.
Brad Garrett.
The corporate-
Yeah, the hair. That's a great point. That was like a very sad little touch of when his head is in the box. Mike like plays with his hair just like he did when they met each other, and Brad Garrett was talking about his shampoo, and he's like, "Feel my hair, and like Mike.
Well,
like,
he's the guy that stood up for him originally. They even talked
Right.
about it on the phone. He's like, this guy, like said you were like different and like smart or whatever.
Yeah.
because they were racist as
because
fuck.
racist as fuck. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
racism.
He called him
Yeah.
a bad word. We won't say it on the podcast. We don't want to get banned off.
They don't.
Apple
They
Pod.
don't use the
They don't.
the
They
hard
say-
R though. They use a different word because
It starts with a D. I don't want to
Yeah.
say it, but it
Yeah.
does
it's
start with
still
a
a
D.
slur.
Still a
but
slur.
Still a
it's,
slur.
you don't hear it nearly as often.
No,
Still
but it's
terrible
it's-
though.
It's still terrible, but I guess it's not. I guess in a way, it's not as bad.
I don't know. I think it's just because they were trying to get away with using something on cable television.
Yeah, well, and that's what makes it not as bad in a way, you know.
Yeah. No. Look at Maestro, the boy.
Oh boy, he's
You
so
think him and
good.
Pip would be friends?
No,
What do you
No.
mean?
Hard.
I think
Pip would love
Maestro's
him.
trying to fucking scrap, dude. I don't think Pip is ready for this heat.
I don't
But
know. Pip's pretty tough. This
I do
guy
wa-
right now sleeping in a little baby basket. You think this guy's not a tough cat?
Maestro came in to bite my toes. He's ready to go.
That's just the adolescence talk.
I just want to say about
Yeah.
the corporate thing. I think it was dumb. I think their decision is somewhat dumb, and that they take this guy who's been a foot on the ground kind of guy and throw him in immediately. It's like, all right, we need a quarterly expense report due on this
Yeah.
day, and it's like,
I think it's horrible.
what makes you think that moving, like, have him, I move him up for sure
Yeah.
because he did well, but like have him go take over another area, or
But I mean, you can tell that it's all racially motivated because he's like, cut your fucking afro. Like, this isn't the fucking 60s anymore.
yeah, it is.
Change
but it's
your
still-
fucking dress. Like, wear an actual tie. Stop this bolo shit. I mean, it's.
But still, just trying to move somebody who was part of a hostile takeover
Yeah.
into corporate expense reports.
Yeah.
It just doesn't
It's
seem like a
brutal.
good use of your talent.
No, it's a
Like-
tragic. It's a really shitty ending because Mike just.
It's
wants
a
to
very
fucking
shitty ending. Yeah,
be a
he just
boss,
wants.
dude.
He does.
When he,
He wants
pops
to move
the
up.
Undertaker, that's low key a great scene.
So
It's-
good.
It's
That was
very
cool.
fast.
That was a
Scene's
cool
great.
scene.
But that. Oh,
He's got
also,
the slide out gun like Assassin's Creed.
The
Can you talk
suspense-
about how that's Assassin's Creed.
Bringing it
No,
back to,
that's-
to scenes where suspense is built. The scene where he goes after Otto.
Also, Taxi Driver. Sorry. Psh.
I think of Django Unchained with that.
Yeah,
Oh,
true.
Yeah, that is also Django. But
When
the
they-
rest is Taxi Driver.
When they kill all of Otto's
Haven't seen
thugs at the hospital.
What?
You know, when they like box him in. We'll circle back to that. But the scene
Have
where,
you
like,
seen it, Will?
what, Django?
No, Taxi Driver.
As a child,
You guys are crazy. Dude.
I don't
never seen
remember
it.
it really.
I want to watch it, but I actually held off because I thought we talked about it at
Every
one point.
time I watch that movie, I have a different feeling and reaction.
Bring it to the
Great,
pod,
great.
Cobb. All I know is Jodie Foster's like a child prostitute. That's like all I know.
She's like a 14-year-old prostitute.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's awful. Anyway, I think that's probably. I mean, we've run pretty long on this one. I feel like.
Yeah, Abby's gonna.
It's fine.
There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot I feel like we probably
We
didn't
left
even
out a
touch on.
shitload. Yeah.
I think we covered most things we needed to cover.
This is
We didn't, well,
what, Cobb?
no, I was just gonna say there's still probably a lot of stuff we could have talked about.
Yeah, there's.
Oh
Tons.
yeah,
There's
but
tons.
I think we talked about
we
the big
didn't really
things.
talk about Betsy at all. She has a ton of like really good scenes,
Yeah.
She
especially with
does. I thought we
Noreen at
talked
the
a little
end.
bit about her, but
You know, I mean, like pretty much
all right.
everything Lou does. Oh, when Lou calls Ben Schmidt a shit cop and Hank like chuckles.
So good.
That's like one of my favorite scenes in the entire show. It's just
You
so
know you're a
simple.
shit cop.
because he doesn't say anything. He's just kind of
He
takes
says,
it.
"Well, I'm getting promoted next month."
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah, I guess he
Lou's
does
just
say
like,
such
that.
a bitch comeback.
it's so trash.
getting
And then you see
promoted.
him in season 1 as like this fat old fucking useless ass cop who's Gus's boss who does nothing.
Man,
Yeah.
Fargo cops suck, huh?
There's lots
Yeah,
of good
that's a-
payoff here.
Except for in the
That's-
movie.
That's a theme. I feel like it's like with both seasons. It's like there's some good cops and there's
Do
some
nothing
really
cops.
really crap cops.
Yeah.
There's some ones that are just not. You
Not
shouldn't
good.
have a badge. Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind.
But I mean, it was great. It was a really excellent.
It was good.
Excellent season 2. It really makes me want to watch season 1 of True Detective again. I really want to. I gotta watch it. Again.
Interesting.
I haven't
Never
seen
seen
it in
it.
so long. It's so good, Trevor.
Yeah,
You
it's
should
really
watch
good.
it on
Trev.
your own.
You'd love it.
But yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Thank you for showing it to us.
Yeah, for sure, guys. Happy
Yeah,
you
thank you,
enjoyed
Will.
it.
And,
Happy to
and
bring
I'm
it.
next week, right, guys?
You are
Yeah,
next.
you're up next.
So
I will
look
not.
forward to my pick, boys.
Yep, we're looking forward to that. I will not be bringing season 3 or 4, so don't hang on those words. They're less good. They're still worth watching, but not as good as season 1 and 2.
I might peruse. I might watch them a little bit.
I
and
might
then
still watch him. Yeah.
I feel like we need to have like. Because I know Jacob's finished Kipo. I feel like we need to have like an
No,
episode.
I haven't watched the newest season.
You haven't? Well, you watched the season.
I watched
after.
season 1 and 2.
Okay, but like we
I
need to.
still
I
haven't
feel like we
seen
need to
2.
have for like shows that we bring. If people have finished them, have like an episode where we talk about multiple
Do a
shows.
retrospective.
That's for the
That'd be good.
Patreon, dude.
Yeah,
Dude,
That's
a
for the Patreon.
retrospective for the Patreon would be really sick.
That'd
be
be cool.
Patreon.com/r/harbor_boys money sign hashtag follow us.
First
That's
of all,
what
this
it
is not real. We haven't made one.
No.
yet.
Go look
We're-
it up. Go look it up.
We're
Type
still
it in
in
Look
Exactly
at it. If
exactly
you
like
type
that.
it in exactly, it's gonna work. All right.
You'll get
We're
there.
still
It's
talk-
It's a
we're
secret
still-
Patreon. Secret Patreon.
We're still talking about possibly.
Trevor has an
doing one,
OnlyFans.
but- That is true. I do have an OnlyFans.
It's hot.
Onlyfans.com/trevorshairytoes.com.
No, no. Are you kidding? I'm not trash like that. I only do elbow pics.
Ooh, that's hot.
Elbow, just my
Oh.
elbow.
Yes. Hairy Elbow. Sorry,
But-
trevorshairyelbow.com. All right, everyone. Happy New Year. We really sincerely, truly hope that this year is better for you than last year was. We're not off to a great start, but got a long way to go.
Hey,
So,
you know what? Only up from here. It's only up from here.
Only up from here.
We
Thank
love you
for
all.
listening.
Yeah, thank you so much for still listening to us. Bye.
Bye.
Peace. Impeach Trump.